Morning, it's I, or King Ginger. It is my friendly cohorts. Introduce thyselves.
Colin.
And I'm Matt.
Matthew. Matthew, I put up one of our pictures from yesterday.
I saw that.
I thought it was very good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, for those that don't know, we go on these walks, and sometimes on these walks, pictures get taken, and sometimes they're magical.
My family loves seeing them. I'll tell you that much.
That walk yesterday, let me tell you.
That sucked.
Yeah.
Was it super cold?
No.
The weather was the temperature was wonderful. But,
normally that almost 2 mile walk takes us about 25 to 35 minutes.
Uh-huh.
It took us an hour yesterday. Hour and 10 minutes.
It was just so freaking like icy. It's
yeah.
freeze. So yeah, it was, just shuffling the whole way.
Super spike. Yeah.
Every day I be shuffling.
So that I don't eat shit.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna eat shit multiple times.
Yeah. No, I was feeling that in the back and the ankles and everything after.
Shockingly enough, ankles don't hurt.
Yeah, well.
Mitch, we don't ever have to deal with getting chased by dogs because dogs love us.
And your neighbors are good about keeping their dogs under control.
They are. Dave, where can people find you?
Mm.
Everyone should know this. But
everybody in the chat knows where they
can. Put it in the chat. Hockey boy Shaggy, getting ready for some hockey later, but until then he's hanging out.
It's the great hangout.
Mitch knows, but he'll never tell.
Secrets.
Okay. So today I got D&O tomorrow. And I left us at a cliffhanger with
I'm just gonna throw out there that maybe Dave is a collective hallucination of a pink head.
For a second there, I thought Dave put Mitch is the knight, and I was like, Mitch is the knight.
He is the knight.
Works on so many levels. What am I talking about?
You got your D&O prep. You got some gods.
Yeah, so got D&O. Got D&O tomorrow. We ended last time with the SLKs. They made their way into the beginning of the Olympian underworld, and they met Cerebus at the end. And Cerebus basically just said, the dead stay in, the living stay out. So their whole thing is they're going to get one of their classmates who was accidentally killed back on Mount Celestia. They also were tasked by I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I gotta shut my Zomboid completely off because the music is killing me right now. It's just in my background, just blaring away, and I'm like, I don't want to be scared right now, game. I don't need your bullshit. Save your scariness for when I get back in there and finish clearing these houses of the undead.
I don't want to be scared right now.
I don't want to be scared right now. No, I don't need that kind of pressure. Which, by the way, if anyone wants to join me, reach out.
I will have to see if my system can handle it at some point.
I'm playing with no mods, just straight up vanilla ass Zomboid.
Yeah, I got me a real vanilla ass computer though. So
Same here, man. Same
it's
here.
like
Zomboid's not overly complex. I mean, it's not.
Minecraft was the only thing that I was like, can it run Minecraft? And I'm like, okay, then I'm probably fine.
You're welcome for that curse upon your house as well.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been in there a ton lately, but it is nice just to,
They were not killed by ponies. No. A Nereid killed Erlin by drowning him, not realizing that he was a human boy of age of 16 and not a threat.
Well, drown that pony.
And oh, goddamn you! One of the allies that helped them was I can't think of people that come out of trees. Not in Nereid. It's a
Dryad.
You please. Yep. A dryad who then was like, hey, you need to make reparations for this murder.
Yeah.
The dryad's like, hey, I want you to go down there. There is I have some of my own political machinations for this. So I'm helping you, but also it's going to benefit me. I want you to go down and beseech Persephone to return to the surface and cause an Everspring. Because currently the gods are a little bit out of pocket, pushing their order on us, and we, like the more foresty spirits folks, we're downtrodden right now, and we're not liking it. We've also set up Celestia to be like this ebb and flow of chaos and order constantly, yeah, exactly. So where everything kind of gets flipped on its head every so often. But currently the cycle is very heavy-handed towards order with the gods. So chat killing it. One thing I want to do is I want to kind of figure out the voices, kind of the essence of these characters, because as we were talking a little bit yesterday on the walk, I really like the way that Terry Gilliam set up Aphrodite and Hephaestus in the movie The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, because I always felt like they were, when they were happy, basically were super manic. When they were happy, they were super friendly and outgoing and hey, and the moment that they felt any type of different way, it was this over dramatic, terrifying, they're gods. God murder whenever God want murder. So I kind of wanted to figure that out. And I figured the best way to do it is also just kind of attach a physicality or a actor or actress to those roles, so it's easier for me to go, okay, well, that's kind of what that looks like.
Tap into that, yeah.
Which is funny because we just watched Love and Thunder last night, and I was like, oh man, fighting around the world as Zeus, kind of interesting. With his like almost terrifyingly stereotypical accent work there.
Yeah.
Hey, good voice work there, you dumb shit.
They did record a couple different versions of that, I think there's other versions where he's doing like different accents. So
I didn't hate it, but I was also like, really?
Yeah.
This is what you... The whole movie felt like, this is what you went with?
Yeah.
But it had like chicken people in the beginning.
Yeah. I mean,
you can't fault that.
As I said yesterday, we watched 2 Marvel movies that we hadn't seen over at Casual Doug's. We watched Love and Thunder, and we watched Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
Solid C and a solid B. It's the best I can do for you.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wanted more out of both of them.
At the risk of getting myself in trouble, I think that's even too high. So
yeah, and I kind of, that's why I put him at like a flat letter and not at a plus or a minus, because I do feel like there's Thor: Love and Thunder. This is what you went with. I did read that there was an awful lot of studio interference in that, which also is maybe why it feels so disjointed. But I feel like there are times with those settings, I think more so in the comics, where they get the kind of bombastic nature and kind of the detachment from the mortal world really good with the deities.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's been done any better than on the Justice League cartoon with Ares, where it's kind of like I've been around since war started, so I'm playing the long game.
Old step to me, yeah.
Yeah, like this is just I'm already decided I'm gonna lose this battle. This battle, all I'm doing by fighting this battle though is I'm setting up victory down the road, and I'm telling you that so when I beat you later, you'll know that I threw this battle. I like that kind of. Oh, you know what? I don't hate Dark World.
I don't either.
Dark World to me is also just a solid C.
I haven't seen it since it came out.
It
So
has
I don't have
one
it.
of my favorite moments when they're having that battle, Thor and Malekith, and they're teleporting around, and they randomly teleport on top of like the big glass ceiling like window of this like skyrise, and they're both freaked out and they're screaming like the battle's gone. They're both these guys stuck in this weird situation. And it just cuts to this boardroom full of people having a meeting, and they see these two beefed up, an elf and a god, like sliding down the surface, like ah. It was just fun. I don't know. It was fun.
I do, and I mean, not to get off on
Marvel.
Yeah,
the biggest tangent in the world, but
Yeah.
I do feel like the Curse of the Thor movies, beyond the one with Hulk, is that they're just super uneven.
Yeah.
They're just super uneven. I think that's a hard character to put in a movie by itself.
He's a tough character to, when you get him in the comics, you can just get him, you nail him.
You can stick him in the most cosmically wild situations, and that's harder to. I think he's so much better in an ensemble.
Yes, he's like the Hulk. He's a better character in an ensemble.
I think you can do the Hulk as straight up horror
if they did that,
because we've seen that work in the comics as well. My big thing with Thor in the movies is a little goes a long way.
Yeah.
To me, Thor is what everyone bitches about Superman. Good Superman is a guy who is extremely powerful, who's trying to be human.
Yeah.
And has a very, very stringent belief system that is kind of the best of us. I kind of use the Shin Ultraman comparison, Iron Giant comparison. Thor is a god, and he's like revels in being a god. Thor doesn't want to be human. Being human would mean being weak. It would mean being mortal. He doesn't give a shit about that. He is literally what everyone accuses Superman of being. He is the pat you on your little head and say, I'm here for you. Let me take care of this, and then you can tell me how great I am. So yeah, that's kind of. And I agree. Thor needs a straight man. I agree with that.
Yeah,
he needs someone to be able to bounce off of.
No,
and the Guardians were so out of character and kind of weird in that movie as well. I was like, ugh, I feel like this is not what I want to see.
And I was so excited for the possibilities of that little grouping after Endgame. I was like, ooh, this could be so fun. And it was just like a flash in the pan. Yeah.
I will say about Wakanda Forever. I think we talked about this in chat, Matt, I think that the actress who plays Shuri may have soured me a little bit because it's like, oh, you want me to root for someone who is anti-vax? I mean,
Yeah, I don't like her as a person too much.
Yeah, as a person, so it makes it really hard for me to detach that from a character who's kind of petulant. Also,
and such a science-based character and such an anti-science person, it's just like.
On top of that, like the Wakandans were the bad guys.
I mean,
I'm sorry, they were.
They are
because the Atlanteans were like, hey, we want to be allies. This is going to end badly for both of us if we're not. And the Wakandans were like, you fucked around and you're going to find out. And Namor's like, hey man, I got more troops than you got blades of grass. So yeah. Just give us an maybe I would prefer to see the alternative Killmonger from Multiversal Masters of Evil. Who's in the Destroyer armor. He's terrifying.
Yeah.
And I thought Namor was perfect amount of douche because it wasn't douche like he is in the comics. He came off like a actual. I love in the comics the dynamic of those kingly characters. Namor. I mean, you can throw Black Adam in there, even though it's not Marvel. Doom, Panther, where it's like, I'm not a superhero. I'm a fucking monarch.
Yeah.
Storm has a little bit of that too, kind of that regal nature of like.
Well, she was a goddess.
Yeah, I will kill you because you're my people. Also, I understand acceptable loss.
Well, that's you get that with Magneto.
Yeah.
Here as well, where it's like, okay, yeah, their concerns are, and it's what the best like written, like, you know, Nick Fury and Abigail Brand and stuff, where it's like, yeah, you've got your dude in a ski mask with a magic, you know, freaking frying pan or whatever, trying to rob a bank. Good for you. I'm worried about the entire fucking galaxy, who don't like us because we're idiots. And I'm going to do some really horrible things, but we're going to be alive at the end of it.
Yeah. Nick Fury. Yeah. All of those kind of movers and shakers characters, Black Bolt falls into that.
Yeah.
I think it's why at times like Ronan the Accuser, when he's written by certain people, can come off as a very empathetic character.
Oh, totally. Like one of my favorite runs is like the Annihilation Chronicles, all that stuff. You're so on Ronan's side through all of that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, do it, buddy.
So I think those characters are very interesting to me, and that's why I found Namor to be extremely interesting in that portrayal. And I was really worried. I was like, oh, why are they making the Atlanteans like this Mesoamerican?
It worked, I thought.
I thought it was brilliant. I was like
that scene where Child Namor returns to the land.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Goosebumps. I wanted more.
I actually thought the movie would have been better served to concentrate more on Namor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Totally. I think it helps a lot to give, because, you know, obviously the Namor character was born out of World War II. So it's really easy to be like, well, yeah, I can see why he would hate the surface world, because, you know, there's a lot of really shitty people doing really shitty things to his people. And I think this is a good way to update that. And like, so when at some point he does eventually probably do more, you know, hey, fuck you Earth stuff. It's grounded in something. It's like, well, yeah, this was objectively, you know, shitty things that done to him and his people.
I tried to explain that to people I was watching the movie with who don't really realize that Namor's been around since forever, because they were like, oh, it's like Aquaman. I was like, Namor supersedes Aquaman by years. Also, there was an android Human Torch and Captain America, and Namor, like the android Human Torch, still does like, you can live with me, Jim Hammond, because you're a robot, not a person. But he thinks Cap's pretty cool because Cap helped him during World War II, and they were
Don't
like,
even get me started on
Storm. And they were like, hey man, can we just watch the fucking movie? Like, can you stop, please, trying to tell us about all this cool stuff? And I have such a hard time in those movies, because I'm just like, I get so excited to talk about like, and then Namor had his little wings ripped off in a fight with this guy, but he could still fly out of sheer willpower, and it was awesome. And they were like, what?
I often find myself like pausing the movie whenever I'm
that's what we were doing.
To sit there and I'll be like, well, you got to, and everyone, I can see everyone's eyes start glazing over and they start fishing at a certain point, but I'm like, no, this is important. Yes.
Blazing Skull is not. Also, my favorite interpretation of the Destroyer is the one that Kirkman did in that miniseries.
Oh, no. I mean, I like that miniseries, but Destroyer has gotten so interesting of late.
Really?
Yeah, because they
also, there was a World War II Vision, and I have to explain it to people, and they're like,
"Oh, Vision, yeah, no, Arcus is great."
I love those World War II characters.
Over the last, I think it was Brubaker that brought in the stuff, but anyway, basically they took some subtext, made it text. The Destroyer has basically been in a relationship with the second or third Union Jack since World War II.
The second Union Jack, then?
Second Union Jack, yeah. So they've basically just been, that was the whole reason he kind of became a superhero, is like, well, my boyfriend's a superhero. I'm going to go do superhero stuff too.
Interesting.
And now he's the second Union Jack has passed away. But he's still out there helping Cap, and he's like, I'm a super soldier. I still have like this power in me. I'm 80. I can't do as much as I used to, but he'll still suit up every now and then. And he's just kind of, this droll, British dude. I mean, his sister Spitfire, or maybe it was. Oh, anyway, she, she's still around.
Yeah, because she's a vampire now.
Vampire now. She got de-aged.
Ma Hunkle! Justice for Ma
great.
Hunkle.
Ma Hunkle's awesome. Anyway, yeah.
Especially liked in John's run where she took over as kind of den mother at the JSA building.
No relation to any of this, but I do want to put it out there before we get into the meat of this. I thought it would be really cool to incorporate into a D&D game something like the Price Master, where, because you watched that link I sent you.
That was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
Explain
it, Matt, so people have an understanding.
In the late 80s in Texas, this group of art students or whatever decided to have a garage sale, but it was like also an art project. So they filmed the whole thing, and they had a dude in this wild freaking costume, standing on, and they, whatever the house they were renting had like this huge porch with the columns and everything. So he was standing on this porch, like on a stage, with a loudspeaker system, and people would like go and like ask for a price. And
he had a mask. He was very amazing.
Yeah. So the other people, the other guys that lived in the house were just kind of wandering around, being available to people. So they'd be like, "Oh, how much is this box of paper clips?" And they'd be like, "Oh, you got
to ask it the Price Master."
Yeah. And then so they go to the Price Master, and the Price Master would just, and he had like this echo effect on the loudspeaker and shit, and he'd just be like, $5,000. What? And they recorded the whole thing. It's wild.
Really wild.
But I love the idea of like in a D&D game or something, like just some like kids.
Okay. Hear me out.
Like they found some artifacts and they know people want them and they're just fucking with people. Like, go get me a pie. And it's just this like off the top of their head screw around. Nightbot prevents links. What? Anyway, Price Master.
So here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to add this down there because I do want to use this. There's an episode of Venture Brothers where there's this alien.
Oh, yes.
Ignore me! That's what Price Master sort of reminded me of in the best way possible. So what if it's like a sub-dimensional marketplace?
Okay.
So they can bring me a shrubbery. And Price Master
that kind of thing. Just like we're just gonna.
What are those tiny penguin dudes? Sorry, I'm trying to multitask. All of a sudden, my brain just went wild. Okay, so there's these penguin dudes and spelljammers called the War, and they're like little trader, kind of like shady ass dudes. They're penguins. So the War also are involved in this mystical market, and this mystical marketplace is where, yes, Hank Co. Do you know what this is, Dean? This is a 10-cent glass of sugar water. It's meant to push down that grinder we're selling. On the Doar, they like these Doar are like a sect who worship the Price Master. We don't know what the Price. I don't ever want to reveal what the Price Master is. But this is a place where you can go. Where you can go to like trade for mystical things. But like you said, the asking price is insane.
or just wildly arbitrary.
Yeah, it's like you might like pick up a Vorpal sword and ask the Price Master, and he says 1 tarnished bronze coin.
Yeah.
With the head of a gorilla.
Yeah, just something.
It's like, where am I gonna fucking find this? Or it might be 5 billion,
Are we gonna have any kind of representation of the Price Master?
I kind of thinking like the Price Master is like a Kirby-esque head floating in.
I was thinking Zardoz.
Yeah, a little like Zardoz. Between Zardoz from from
and it just spits out whatever.
Power Rangers, the Zardoz flying head from the movie Zardoz.
Oh,
Yeah,
and the Great and Powerful Oz.
Oz, yeah.
just a feeling. I love it. Yeah.
Or Super
Pretty
Spike
fitty.
suggestion here, which is
Lady of Pain.
So one thing I like Infinite Edition
like
did
her.
is the price is the Lady of Pain and the Raven Queen. They're not gods. They're
No.
like powers. They're like something outside. Maybe the Price Master is outside that. Kind of like they are.
Yeah.
Which I kind of look at like I tried to explain people eternity and things like that yesterday, like Living Tribunal, and they were like,
no.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I once had a evil Pally Loxodon character who would whip himself with Cat of Nine Tails for the Lady of Pain as his it was awesome. It was the greatest. They are more than gods.
I always like the idea the Raven Queen was like a consort of, I can't remember the name of the god who was like a death god, and she found a way to get rid of him, and then she went out and eliminated her name so no one could find her actual name from anywhere in the multiverse.
Oh.
So that way no one would ever have power over her again. Yeah, it's I don't even know if it's they are humble before them, Mitch. It's more like they just can't be fucked with. They're just so powerful that the gods have no. Yeah, I don't know. God's humble before them. I kind of like the way that rings. So,
not to be a Tolkien nerd, but kind of like Ungoliant the Spider, who became so crazy powerful that even Morgoth was afraid of her. Sorry.
No, you're good. So we could use the mystical marketplace in this. Like maybe one of these characters says, "Hey, I need this thing," and the players are like, "Where can I find it?" And they're like, "Oh, you got to go to this place called Mystical Marketplace." So, the other thing they're trying to do, getting back, like we went all over the place. So they want to Everspring, and they also still need to find. Oh, I just messed that up, huh? They also need to find out where they're kind of where Felix is, who is kind of a pseudo older brother to the players, who is they found out he's the son of Hera and a mortal dalliance. So I usually try to play him up like a Hercules, Marvel Comics Hercules type character.
Is he favored by her?
No.
Ooh.
To her, he is a black mark on her otherwise impeccable reputation. So when he shows back up to Olympus with the kids to basically beseech the Olympians to be like, hey, there's this great unmaking on its way that you need to be prepared for because it's already happening. She has, I can't remember what Neptune's son's name is. Typhon? Anyway, Triton. She has Triton basically smash them upon entering the base of Mount Celestia.
Oof.
So, and he's tough, but he ain't that tough. So they got separated from him. And they are children. I think the oldest player is like, the player character is like 15.
Yeah.
And so they were with a couple of other NPCs that they run around with in school, who they all refer to themselves as the Honor Society. Who they don't all. So I've kind of been also weaving in that because they had one character who had kind of been classified as the mean girl, and we've kind of seen some growth by that character, along with Warrior's character Monty, who is a GIF kind of techno guy. He uses a lot of like high technology weapons. His world was destroyed in the beginning of this whole unmaking thing.
Okay.
He kind of also has an idol of this very Super Sentai characters from his world. They're like Super Sentai cross with like Halo type of thing.
Oh.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that, Spike. I really like that idea. Like Like the King Ghidorah meme, where two of the heads are like, and the third one's like, I'm a boy.
Well, yeah, like
so that was my thought here. Is like each head has its own personality.
Yeah.
Two are hard asses.
And maybe between the two hard asses, one is the more tactful of the two, while one's the more aggressive and will just go and lash out.
Yeah, one's like very orderly, one's very chaotic.
Definitely.
And
then you have the goodest boy.
Very rules and order. Being very rules and order directed, and the other a smash first, ask questions never. Very much the goodest boy. Also got to spend extended time with Doug's dogs yesterday. Bailey and I hit it off, as I knew we would. Sasha doesn't like anyone. And at the end of the night before we left, Sasha came up and actually like let me pet her without her like without her tail dropping and her growling. So it took a lot of work. Yeah, it took a lot. And even they were like, hey, she tolerates maybe 2 outsiders who aren't Doug or I. So they were like, oh, it was good. I like when that energy. Yeah. When I came in and sat down, Bailey immediately came over and sat on my foot, and they were like, "What is going on?" I was like, "Bailey just wants some scritches." Also, the fact their dogs are named Bailey and Sasha also makes me very happy.
Hey, yeah, nice.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Charon, the Ferryman of the Dead.
Yes.
Because one thing, even if I don't use all this, I want to kind of have some of it going in the background because I want to be able to have kind of fronts. And for those that aren't familiar, fronts, I can't remember what game fronts is from, but fronts are, I know they use it a lot. And was it Beyond the Wall, I want to say, which is like a game that's a mixed match of 5th edition and 2nd edition, which is all built on a lot of interesting concepts, which I highly recommend. I used to be on an actual play of Beyond the Wall. It's like you build during character creation, you actually build where you're from. You pick like an enemy. You have like enemies that you can pick from, like the undead or like lizard folk, and then those enemies have a built-in like front system. Like if you don't do this, this is the next step of aggression they go to. So while you're doing something, you have to pick 2 enemies. So while you're dealing with one enemy, the other enemy is doing shit. So you can't just ignore this because you're kids in Beyond the Wall, ostensibly, but you're the village's protectors.
That sounds awesome.
It's amazing. It's a great game. But it's also, the magic system is very interesting because like the bigger the spell, the longer it takes you to prep. So let's say you want to cast Fireball. A big power Fireball may take you like 8 hours of a day to prep.
Oh, really? Wow.
So that means you like would have to hide around where you want to cast it and prepare it the whole time. So, and Magic has a cost. It's a really great system. It's very story oriented as far as like when you're playing that game and you're setting it up, it's like you have a definitive beginning and you will be going to a definitive end. When we played it last, the first time through, we played Zach ran a version of Against the Reptile Cult, which I figured out pretty quickly because I've both run and played that multiple times. So I was like, I'd throw my brain off because otherwise I know all of this shit.
Yeah, you're gonna
and after like 3rd session, he was like, I had to change some stuff because Ben was just figuring he like knew too much. But it was awesome. And the next time we played it, he used a Red and Pleasant Land, which is a system agnostic kind of, you stumble into an alternate world where it's the best way to express it is it's Alice in Wonderland with vampires. And it's really good. But the person who helped create it is extremely problematic as a human.
Uh,
In fact, kind of a shitbag as a human. But that came out before they were kind of revealed to be an absolutely horrific person. But the concept's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard, I find, to separate the art from the artist anymore.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. There's things like Lovecraft, and I think there's enough time between that you can be like, okay. And like, so many people have taken it and put their stamp on it too.
I think it's about like
it's tough. Because like I love Hogwarts, man, but then like J.K. Rowling's just gone off the deep end with her hatred lately, and it's just like,
yeah,
it's the I think time helps, and then it's also like you need to acknowledge it and own it.
Yeah,
like I'm doing this thing. Here is why that's potentially a problem, and here's what I'm doing to make sure that I'm not making things worse.
Yeah. So try to, I don't know, a good way for me to try to offset that is I give to what causes that I can, what I can, that counter whatever those crappy messages are that those other people want to put out there. So I don't know.
Cassandra and I will go round and round because Harry Potter is one of her fandoms. Like she's big into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I just can't because I know that person takes that money and then uses it to support things that are hurtful to our friends.
Yeah.
So I can't. And she's she's like, she also won't give JK Shitbag any money, but it upsets her because she's like, I want to be interested in this and I want to enjoy it, but it's been taken away by someone's shittiness.
Yeah. And then the other sad part of that is like when you then get those people who were always outside the fandom, but because of the message that whatever this creator's putting out there, they just come and glom onto it and try to make it theirs then, and it just is like whatever. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough. It is.
Well, that's I mean, because what was it? The guy behind the IT crowd, like, which I loved, and it's like, oh, you're a shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you on that, Richard. That's I was gonna say I know Shannon was right up there with Cassandra and how much she was like, this is mine. And I know how much that they have mentioned how much it hurts to have to kind of say, I can't support this anymore because it's become awful.
Yeah.
And to hear someone who loves something so much have to just say, I can't
say that
because this person, and as someone who loves things, who has strong fandom feelings as well, to see someone else have to go through that's terrible. I look at that and I'm like, oh man, that's awful. That'd be like if someone was like, oh, by the way, Jack Kirby was a secret Nazi. I would be like, I would have to burn so much of the things that I own. I mean, that'll never happen. Jack Kirby, first of all, Jewish. Second of all, notorious for taking time off work to go downstairs and beat the fuck out of Nazis who would show up to the Marvel offices. I'm literally telling Stanley at one time, I'll finish the page when I'm done. When you're done doing what? There's a Nazi downstairs. I will be back. Coming back, straightening his tie, and the police showing up because Jack beat the shit out of a Nazi out in front of the building.
I mean, I've got a little bit of that because, like, fuck Ayn Rand. But I love me some Ditko.
That's a guy. Steve Ditko is another one where I highly recommend if you haven't, seek out In Search of Steve Ditko, which is a documentary that Neil Gaiman did.
Oh,
that's excellent.
They go see Steve Ditko in that documentary. He won't let the cameras up there.
Yeah, I'm not surprised he wouldn't.
But they go talk to him, and that's something that Gaiman brings up. He's like, Ditko, I love Ditko. I don't agree with a lot of what Ditko believes in, but I also feel like Steve Ditko got fucked over by by Marvel and by people he worked with gleefully, and I think that some of that informed what he took on politically.
Frank Miller, like I love early Frank Miller, but then like he hit that whoa, like after 9/11 it just went insane, and like he's walked back some of that stuff now, and that's a good, like, I don't know, like how much of that was like mental health and what, but then again, like
how much of it is just old white man syndrome?
That's true.
Yeah, how many do we see who just, they're like, when people tell you when you're young, well, you'll understand more when you get older about why people get conservative. And what I've learned is when I've gotten older, I've been like, yeah, and I don't want any part of that shit.
Yeah.
But I see like people who were very like anti-authoritative, who are very much in that, and then they become that later on.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking Jim. Steranko. I was just gonna mention Steranko. Like, what the fuck, dude? And I guess it's easier for me with Steranko because he hasn't really created much in 50 years.
But you mentioned Ayn Rand, Matt. What about God damn it? All of a sudden their names are escaping me. Rush.
I didn't know Rush was into.
Rush was hardcore into Ayn Rand. But have like the last 20 years said we were young. And we wrote a lot of shit that, like Anthem. Anthem is literally a Ayn Randian anthem.
Really?
You listen to the words, and I love that song. But when I started reading the words, I was like, "Oh God, this is terrible."
Well, that was shit.
Please don't tell me Parliament of Trees is Ayn Rand inspired. I'm going to have a heart attack like that.
They've made. I mean,
hell yeah, Draz. Hell
yeah. If they've, realized that, if they came out and said, okay, yeah, we don't believe that anymore, and but
yeah, like, they very much. I can't remember the drummer's name of Rush.
Neil Peart.
Yeah, and he came out because apparently he did a lot of the writing.
Oh yeah, he was their main writer.
And he has said, hey, I was young, and I definitely had interest in Ayn Rand stuff. Yeah. Well, as I got older, I realized how much it was just bullshit.
Oh yeah, I went through that same thing myself.
Yeah. That was part of the zeitgeist, and he was a guy who read a lot. I mean, you don't write a song called "Bytor and the Snow Dog," like steeped in some weird shit.
As I would always tell people, oh, do you like? You know what? When I would say, hey, do you listen to Iron Maiden? And they would go, no, I don't know. I was like, do you like to read? And they're like, yeah. And I go, well, you wouldn't have to read if you just listen to Iron Maiden because like they write 7-minute songs about fucking books. Yeah. That's what they do. It's like, hey, I'm going to tell you this book in like 7 minutes with a huge guitar solo in the middle.
Yeah.
But they did. So they've made because it came in a little bit in the comics, a few times just because of the Marvel method. Because Ditko was plotting the books and stuff, and then Stan would come in with the dialogue. So there's some stuff there where they've made it canon now that there was a period in college where Peter Parker kind of got into Ayn Rand, and he's like,
that's great.
He like goes to the library and they're like, looks like you checked this out and never turn it. And he's like, oh God, I was such an idiot for a minute there in college.
I took this a little too seriously once. Yeah.
Well, because there's like an issue where the students are protesting against issues with like basically Peter Parker's like protesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I remember that. I remember
that. And which is not really in line with how he's depicted as a rule.
Shaggy, that would be rough. So I put it in the chat if anyone's interested. There's a thing called 2 Minutes to Late Night.
Yes.
They do a lot. They do these bedroom covers. They've been doing them since the outbreak of COVID. There's an amazing cover in there of Anthem by Rush. The bassist who they got to be in that little cover was the guy from Primus, whose name also is
Les Claypool.
Les Claypool, and he's wearing a gas mask, and he just goes buck wild. I'm not big on Coheed and Cambria, but I think the guy who's the lead singer sounds terrifyingly similar to Geddy Lee.
Oh yeah.
And the cover also, there's one of the guys from Tool is on this cover. Like every time they do a cover, they get amazing musicians.
Insane lineup. I don't know.
Yeah, it is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hawk and Dove. It's a great example again of Ditko.
Yeah.
Ditko did some really interesting stuff, but I agree, it's his personal politics make me kind of grossed out.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. I will say that I never felt like he's been a public shitbag about it. He just worked it into his work.
Yeah.
Very heavily, like Mr. A. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
That's a hard read. So anyway.
Yes.
I love the energy we got going. Chat, you guys are killing it today. All right. So we've got kind of Cerebus where we want him. So I can't remember if it's Charon or Charon, so we're just gonna go.
I've heard it both ways.
Yeah, we're gonna go Charon. Ferryman of the Dead. What would be
Karen.
a Karen? Okay, perfect. Yeah, Karen. I like Karen.
Karen, it's Karen, and can he see your manager?
Yeah. So one thing I want to do with this is because I've kind of always seen this as two distinct representations. Is kind of the ferryman skull guy, but also apparently originally mythology it was like a kind of ugly man with like a pointy beard and everything. I kind of want to pull a Krampus on it, and it's a skull with a human face kind of mask.
Like the drooping.
Yeah,
off.
with the drooping face mask.
Yeah.
But I want the appearance to be really horrific.
Mm.
And yes, Shaggy, they also did the Ass Boys theme on 2 Minutes to Late Night. It was great. They have surprisingly a lot of wrestlers show up on 2 Minutes to Late Night in the videos. Like Orange Cassidy's been on a couple times. Danhausen's been on.
Wow.
So I need to figure out, though, who would be a good representation for an actor that we can kind of draw upon as we're going. I don't necessarily need the voice, just
two.
Fire
I've
away.
got before you were thinking of the droop face, I was thinking John Hurt. Old John Hurt could be like, but now thinking, and all apologies because I love this actor, but if you're gonna morph this person's face into like that weird droop that we see in Krampus, Ron Perlman.
Ooh.
He's got such a great expressive face, and if you contorted that, it could be really something.
Would it still be kind of the same gruff voice, or
oh
God, Steve Buscemi?
Oh, dude, with Buscemi.
Yeah, I think that is so off-putting.
In all respect and love to Steve Buscemi. One of my favorite character actors.
I love this. Steve Buscemi does exasperated so well.
Yeah.
Like, I have to explain this to you again. Like, how dumb are you? Why are you? If you don't know this, why are you here?
Like anytime he's dressing down, the actor's name is escaping me, but the guy who played his second in Fargo, like just that, you idiot, how did you like, just perfect.
Also for such a
Greetings,
tiny,
fellow students.
Yeah, also for such a tiny, like weird looking man, he's got a lot of like menacing presence to him, which I do think that's really
cool. Oh yeah. No, he's the silent assassin in Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead, and he's terrifying in that.
I kind of always feel like Elijah Wood kind of channeled some Buscemi when he was playing the
Kevin.
Yeah. All right, so let's skip the two main. Let's move to Hecate, who I did not know. Hecate is technically Persephone's handmaiden while she's in Hades. Like that's the role she takes on for Hestia. So I need someone who's kind of, in my opinion, kind of a the guardian, but slightly put upon, because I kind of look at it as like Hades or Persephone. So the way I kind of want to portray Persephone is someone who was like totally against all this, but then like realized, oh, this gets me out from underneath mom's thumb. And because I also want to portray this as like these two, how long is this, like, because time doesn't matter. The like Hades now is kind of, I was expressing this the other day to somebody. I was like, I kind of want Hades to be like cool dad, to be like not what you expect him to be at all. Like, you know, kind of this like, hey, I've mellowed. Like Persephone's been good for me. Like, and I have hopefully been good for her. I like the idea of their relationship not being dysfunctional.
Yeah.
But very separate. Like they actually do love one another. It started off with a kidnapping, but I would also kind of want to play it up as a kidnapping that was like, I kind of want to say Persephone facilitated some of this, because it was like, hey, I'll help you, but you got to get me away from my fucking mom. Because also when you look in mythology, Hestia is like helicopter mother to the nth degree. So I kind of want to see Persephone as a that Persephone has agency of her own, and the fact where it's like, I want out of this. I want to go fucking sow my wild oats. And Hades is like, listen, I need a wife, like real bad, because my brothers are giving me shit constantly. And I'm lonely. Like almost like Russian bride thing going on here. And they it ends up working out rather than like Stockholm syndrome, which I think it gets played to a lot. But then I want to also play it up that like they did this in Gilliam's Munchausen very well, that Hephaestus dotes on Aphrodite, like uncontrollably, like just like he realizes that he outkicked his coverage by a billion. So it's very much like this doting love. So I kind of want to do a little bit of that, but I also want one of the things I thought of was like the doctor from Powerpuff Girls.
Oh.
Like kind of the Reed Richards-esque. Like I almost at one point I was like, what if they were in the Reed and Sue mold?
What actor popped into mind? John Slattery from Mad Men.
I never watched Mad Men.
He's the silver-haired guy in it.
Other stuff, but yeah.
I can't think of other things he's been in off the top of my head. But yeah, he's kind of got a little bit of that Reed Richards quality to him, I think.
Yeah.
So what about Persephone? We'll come back to that. Let's go back to Hecate. So what is a good kind of one name that kind of popped in my head? I can't think of her name all of a sudden because that's how my brain works.
Yeah.
Is the actress who was Brienne of Tarth.
Gwendolyn Christie.
Yeah, she is awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
Or Rhea Ripley, because mommy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to fall into that because A, it's super problematic, but B, I think it's played out. Guy played.
Yeah, he did play older Howard. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Nailed it.
I can't remember the actor's name, but we're going to skip past that. 1950s dad type.
Ooh, a John Hamm would work for that too.
Oh, God damn it.
Just to go back to Mad Men all of a sudden.
John Hamm.
Boom. Getting hammy.
I love John Hamm. Okay, so Hecate, we said Gwendolyn.
Yeah. Gwendolyn Christie. Yeah, she could. Yeah. She
the
can
dad from
balance
Moral
that.
Oral. Yes, that's a great pull, Mitch. So I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Well done, everybody. So the minor kind of things that they could get into trouble with doesn't mean they're going to. Is the fact that I in some reading I found out that Zeus lets the Titans out, and he gives Cronus the Elysian Isles.
I don't remember that. That's darkish.
Yeah, it is a dark ass show. It really is. If you haven't watched it, Moral Oral is it's wild. So I kind of thinking like Oliver Reed in his later years, or even
I was thinking Raywin Stone.
Or man, my brain is really mush this morning. Or Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
Kind of this guy who in his youth was a hellraiser and not, again, would fight at the drop of a hat and was very commanding, and now is more, I sit back and I watch what's happening and I'm okay with it because I don't have any problem with it.
Brian Cox.
Yeah, but Brian Cox, I always like Brian Cox when he plays more intense stuff.
Yeah.
Oh God, Dom DeLuise.
So he's sitting there laughing until he pisses himself.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do Brando with the DeLuise laughing shit.
Well, I mean, I don't think you probably haven't seen The Righteous Gemstones, but there's a little bit of that with
Goodman.
Goodman.
Totally.
I've seen parts of Righteous Gemstones just because I like all the people in it, and I understand the concept of it a lot. I just never watched it.
It's one of my favorites. I love that show.
It took us a little bit to get into it, but once we did, yeah, we're there now.
I'm a big fan of Danny McBride and that whole crew there.
Ooh, great. 80s Orson Welles. So like drunk off his ass Orson Welles.
I want to tell you about the fine vintage.
Like watching the outtakes from those commercials when he's just smashed.
Yeah, they're like action. Yes, he just wakes up out of a stupor.
Oh, hello.
From the finest almonds.
Don Corleone. I can't remember how it's spelled, so I don't care.
Works.
Yeah, that's close. Doesn't matter.
The one that talks a little bit like this, like he's still the Godfather, but he's kind of got the giggles. And maybe it's because of all the fine vineyard he's been eating and drinking.
That's close to that. The voice you used, we were doing, I think it was Capers, and I just couldn't. I was dying. It was.
I don't remember what I do. My breadth and scope of voices is really narrow, so they get.
I nearly my face hurt after that session because you were doing that voice and it was just killing me, man. It was killing me.
I don't have a lot, but I do.
They're great.
Use what I have. I guess. Making sense. I don't know. So what about Hermes? Also found out Hermes is the god responsible for ferrying the dead to the underworld. Like he directs you where you're supposed to go, which I think is interesting. So he also then would be a good avenue of trying to get information back to Olympus or to Mount Celestia to try to beseech the gods once again, or even to find out where Felix is.
Two things popped in my head, and I don't know. One, Grant Gustin from The Flash.
Yeah, that's a good one, yeah.
And then another is the guy who played the character Danny Noonan from Caddyshack.
That's a wide
it's really,
between them.
I don't know.
Yeah, because the Danny Noonan guy's kind of like just I don't know what's happening.
I mean, yeah, how do you he's the guy
kind of excitable.
I don't know.
I kind of like the idea of him being like a stoner because it's so against type.
It's real laid back.
It's like, hey man, I'm just trying to do my job. This is why I
just
do.
All that kind of like smart ass like mini Chevy Chase energy and stuff like that, but not giving a shit really about anything.
I kind of think it could be like, yeah, well, like when you've got all the time in the world, because you're a god and you're super fast. Like, I like the idea of him actually kind of being late to stuff.
Oh, like like Flash in his personal life. He's always just a second late. But
just like a little bit, because he can get wherever he needs to go like that, but he just didn't leave until it was time to get there. Like,
would he be very apologetic about it, or would he be put upon about it?
No, he doesn't even mention it.
Yeah.
It's not even a thing for him. Like if you were gonna meet him at 4, he would be there at like 4, at plus 30 seconds or a minute or something, but he's never on time.
I imagine him like showing up and being like, "What? Can I just get a second?
Like, do you know how busy I am?
Yeah, I was in the middle of a meal.
Schedule.
Like always in the middle of a meal. Like no matter what, always in the middle of a meal.
And maybe he's always like, this isn't something you could handle.
I think he would also probably be like the kind of personality who's like, you all had these people in meetings and stuff where they're always just on their phone. Where he's not on his phone. He'll just like disappear in the middle of your conversation, then like come back with a burrito or something, because he won't have missed the rest of your sentence.
Yeah.
Or at least not enough of it to matter.
I do love that idea of like just starts looking away while you're talking. He just puts one finger up, and then he disappears for a second and returns, and he's wiping marinara off his face.
Yeah.
Well, it's hungry. You're just taking way too long.
Yeah, that's also good, Mitch. That depending on how you want to play him, because the Samaritan thing is a little more tragic.
Yeah.
But
I love the idea of like the Flash from Kingdom Come, but at the same time, that's kind of tragic. It's like all I do is run around the city. Yeah. Whereas I want someone who's just like, hey, all my dogs are barking, so I want to take a load off, and I'm sure you guys can handle this on your own. Like,
yeah, maybe he has this. Well, yeah, it's just like I don't need to worry about being.
How does this? Can you tell me how this actually affects me? Okay, so the Morai or Morie, I don't know how you say this. So if someone has a pronounce, they're the Fates.
Okay.
And I kind of
the Fates that run the plates.
Want to treat them like the Fates in the original Clash of the Titans.
Oh, it's been a few years.
Three old ladies.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, like crones, kind of, or non-crones, but just.
I kind of want to treat them like crones, but like two friendly crones. Like who are always like cheek pinching.
Dorothy's like, from Golden Girls.
Yeah. Or like two aunts who, whenever you have to see them at a reunion, you're like, oh no.
Oh, yeah. Like, you're going to get your cheeks pinched.
Yes.
They're going to.
You always want to know like what you're doing and why are you so skinny.
Yeah.
But it's also a creepy vibe of like when they're stirring the pot.
Is their interest and concern in you genuine, or is it because they know that's what like
they know your end?
Well, that's because like you get a lot of, it's like, yeah, I was into troll dolls when I was 8. Why are you still giving them to me? I'm 40.
Yeah.
You know, or is it like, no, they genuinely give a shit about who you are and what you're up to?
Ooh. What if like
does that work? Does that make sense to anyone else but me?
Yeah, I know that works.
Yeah, like creepy Julie Andrews. Well said, Mitch.
Send them in.
Send them to Dave, and Dave will get to the mat. Dave is the way. So next is the Iranes, but the Iranes are already a monster in D&D, and there are the Furies.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of want to use the Furies as more of a plot device, where things get too slow, the Furies show up, and it's like, oh shit, we got to run from the Furies.
Okay.
They get verklempt. They do get verklempt. So are we saying that in canon they're Jewish grandmothers? Oh, look at you, booby. Oh, my booby.
Well, I mean, we've got
a great mitzvah if you helped your grandma with the groceries.
Are these the Roman gods?
Yeah, well, they're the Greek gods, Roman gods. I mean, but they're kind of supposed to be they're D&D, so they're just personification, smush.
At least you could make them Italian grandmas.
Oh God.
Nonas.
All right, so the Furies are entities who cannot be reasoned with. They are the inevitable doom of the can't type, the PCs entering the underworld, sort of like white blood cells. Body They are going to be the plot mover whenever things get stalled. The Furies show up. Also, sort of very much like I get kind of a play. They're kind of like the chorus, except for in a far more direct, like, let's get going. You guys have fucked around for long enough. All right. Apparently, Hypnos and Thanatos also live in the underworld.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hypnos, not just a Sunman character,
No.
is the god of personified spirit of sleep. So this is important because Cassandra's character has an ability to walk through the dreamlands and bring people with her. And Thanatos is
death,
the god of non-violent death.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Are we going to keep the thing where they're twins?
Yes, they're definitely brothers.
Yeah.
God of sleep. God of non-violent death. So what are you guys' thoughts on these characters? Because I think they're good ends for Cassandra's character to be able to kind of use, because again, that's something that she can do as a planeswalker. That's like her special thing.
Not more on like just like thinking of like personality wise of what these characters could be, like kind of thinking like almost benevolent but detached kind of versions of like almost like think of like Dr. Manhattan, how he was so removed from humanity. Like but like
who would you which one would you put that on?
Both.
I would want them to be slightly different.
Okay.
I would say Thanatos is probably more of the like because it's just
because I was if we are gonna juxtapose them, then have him be because it's non-violent, like it's like you can die now.
Either that or
and also him seeing death so much might play into that detachment.
The other thing there is he could be just a very genuinely caring.
That too.
If you wanted to go that way with him, it's just like, no, I'm here to help.
That's almost like
that would make you want to move Dr. Manhattan kind of thing to Hypnos, and then make Thanatos like this very nurturing, like almost caretaker,
paternal in a way. Like I'm bringing you back home. You can die now.
I think maybe Hypnos is extremely detached with people who are awake.
I was going to say because he's been so overexposed to everyone's dreams.
But he's
seen everything, so nothing is new to him. So he's almost like the artist whose inspiration is kind of stalled.
Yeah,
Death and Dreams from Sandman.
I like I like him. Yeah, where he's just like he's seen it all now. So anything that's novel, he might be very
I've lived in your dreams. What can you show me?
Yeah, I've seen every possible fantasy and fear that you have.
That's brilliant, you guys. That's super cool. No, I love this.
I like I really think that idea of that Dr. Manhattan. I've seen this. This happened to me 10 years ago. It's happening to you right now.
Yeah,
kind of feel is very otherworldly.
Yeah, well, it's just like I know how you react in these situations. I've seen it.
Yeah, also saying I know your dreams, I know your fears, I because I've seen them.
I've seen all the possibilities that through all your wildest imagination.
And I think the interesting thing would be able to look at like Cassandra's character who can walk into those things and say, I don't know with you because you are walking through other people's things.
Yeah.
So we decide with Thanatos. So with Thanatos, would it almost be like a Fraser Crane?
I mean, you could go with that.
Oh, baby, I hear the Domatas talking.
I loved it. I loved it.
Or Niles Crane. Like all of a sudden, those are the characters I think of. Kind of slightly stuffy, but actually very caring. Like that was the thing on that show. I actually like Niles way more than Frasier.
Oh,
Niles is the guy who goes through far more of a journey than Frasier does.
Yeah, he's got to be just a very like,
or like Dr. Leonard Sampson, Doc Sampson.
Not even like, I don't even think he should be like clinical necessarily. I feel like he's just like this, just very calming, welcome, like Mr. Rogers.
Oh,
like everything is gonna be okay,
dude, you nailed it. I think
where you're headed, you know, is the best place for you or whatever, you know, even if that's not like, I could see him almost just be like, yeah, no, I mean, you're going to the bad place, but I'm not going to tell you that because I'm not going to make this scary for you, or I don't know how it works, you know, for all that stuff. But yeah, just like,
it depends on the plane, depends on who you are, and also
yeah,
some people don't go anywhere. They get stuck in purgatory. But even if they were bad, being honest. So you're going to the abyss. So you've done bad things. So you're going to be a worm thing when you get there. But you could be the best worm thing possible. And in the abyss, the beautiful thing about it is, should you continue to do the bad things you've done in life, you can become more. Use that motivation that you used in life to be the best entity of horrific, chaotic evil you can possibly be. Be the best you. Even if that best you is a slavering maw of teeth and death. I believe in you.
And so I don't know if this fits at all, and maybe we'll.
It was a happy little X. Yeah, kind of a Bob Ross-esque.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love Thanatos may become a character we see far more.
Well, and so I don't know if you've got more that you're trying to work in here, but I was going to say, for whatever reason, Hermes also just clicked in my head as like, I don't know if you've seen home movies.
Yeah.
McGurk.
Yeah, McGurk.
McGurk. Yeah. Oh, McGurk. It's John Benjamin.
You've probably Brandon. You've probably seen characters with gingivitis in the movies, or TV shows, or the movies, Brandon.
Coach McGurk.
Yes.
God damn it, that's a beautiful pull. Just right out from the mouth of babes. All right, Nyx is the goddess of night, and kind of the way I'm imagining this is that the underworld sets on top of endless night, endless nothing, where Nyx basically lives. So if you go off the edge of the underworld, you just float. You don't fall. You just generally float into nothing, and you just are stuck there. And that's where Nyx is. She's the forever night. So one thing I always feel about when we run into these characters is they're overwhelmingly negative. Like Noel, the all black, you know, it's what if it was like kind of like someone who's like retired early almost, like, oh, I don't want to go back. I've got this. This is what I've always wanted. Like, I don't need all that business. So and then just being very inviting, saying, well, you can stay here. Like, this is a nice place. Well, like I've done this a couple times. I got to get back out there, but there's just like the sensory tanks, where it's just you're just floating in. You've done like the altered state sensory deprivation tanks. Yeah. That's fucking awesome. And you're just floating there, and it's body temperature, like warm. Yeah, water. It's like salt water. Yeah. You're just. Why did I just turn to Christopher Walken for a second? It's like salt water. just floating in salt water, and sometimes you dream, A little
Yeah.
game for me.
I feel, or it's like I feel like it almost is one of those deals where
Yeah, that's awesome, Mitch. Oh, that's cool.
I think it also you get out of it what you bring in a little bit. Like
So, like the Jedi.
Well, a couple times I've done the sensory thing. It's like haven't been able to just like calm down, or it's like there's that room at the U that's the quietest room in the world, and nobody can stay in there for very long because you can hear your fucking heart pumping and your blood rushing through your veins and stuff, and it like people can't stay in there because it starts to drive them crazy. So you kind of it could be peaceful, but if you go in there and you've got a lot of shit going on, like there is nothing, you're just dealing with your shit because there's nothing else there. I do like that though, Mitch. And maybe that's something that she can kind of control. So there's this like, if you're in there and she doesn't know you're there yet, it's just like, oh, I'm in this mental.
And see,
whatever.
that's the thing I kind of think of is she is all of it.
Ah, okay.
Like she has no corporeal form. She just is, you're basically being pulled into the bosom of black.
Okay.
So I was kind of thinking almost in a like golden age of Hollywood starlet way, like those Hedy Lamarr type of,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that doesn't work.
Well, and she's got a ton of fucking kids. So
yeah. Stifler's mom's got it going on. Like almost like
first,
a slightly seductive nature.
I was thinking like Aubrey Plaza for a second, but that might be too young, maybe.
Also a little too weird. I love Aubrey Plaza.
But now I'm thinking like, what if we had like Andrea Riceborough from Mandy? Like think of those shots in Mandy where it's just focusing on her face and her hair. I don't know, like that kind of. There's something.
She's very otherworldly.
You think too much? Okay.
No, I like that, but I think it's a quality that when you've got someone who's just an entity that you never actually see.
Okay.
I think that robs someone like an actress of that. Like one of the most interesting things about I think her is all of her nonverbal work in those movies that she's in, because she just has a
presence.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, she's really good at what she does, which is fucking fantastic. I like this idea of being inviting and slightly seductive,
welcoming. Like almost like I don't know if anyone else is gonna get this, but like The Prophecy. If anyone's ever seen that movie, horror movie with Christopher Walken.
Yeah, where they're angels, right?
Yeah, Viggo Mortensen plays like one of the best versions of the devil I've ever seen, and he's always like, "Come on home to me. Come on home." It's like,
well, I've said this all the time. I am never again playing Asmodeus as anything other than the greatest person you've ever met, because that's what I mean. Asmodeus shouldn't need to cajole and wheel and deal with you. It should be like, I'm here for you.
Yeah,
that's why I try to play Moloch as very much like a, hey buddy, hey buddy, pal. How you doing? Ooh, Madeline Kahn.
Oh,
Madeline Kahn from Young Frankenstein.
Yeah. Oh, at the end of Young Frankenstein, after she's had her moment.
That is a great pull, Shaggy.
That's excellent. Yeah. Oh, sweet mystery of life, now that I found you.
Shit like this makes me wish I was better at voices, because I think that like there's so much fertile ground. But like I instead just trying to kind of figure out. All right, so let's get to our main two here. And that's Hades and Persephone. I think we've kind of hit this really well. Come on in, champ. Let's have a talk. Okay, yes, I want to use all those words like slugger and pal and champ. So it's really off-putting they're like, oh, let me put on my home clothes, and he pulls off like this skull mask, and underneath he's just underneath he's John Hamm.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going into
Oh,
horror.
those are my work clothes, buddy. Put on my home clothes. We can
Well,
have
or
this-
the Red Death
Yeah.
from Venture Brothers.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Which isn't that Clancy Brown's voice?
That's Clancy Brown. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to work and do awful.
Don't hate to live. Don't live to hate. Which is super funny you said that because Ass Clamp by J.G. Thirlwell just came on my playlist. Which, if you don't know, is a Venture Brothers song.
Yep.
All right, Persephone. Because
Okay,
I don't want to make Persephone like
not a victim.
not a victim, and I don't want to make her like the Lolita manipulator. I want it to be someone who's like, the first thing that popped into my head, honestly, was Daria. So maybe Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, she could work for that. Yeah.
Because it's more like
because she doesn't want to.
like April. Is Persephone April Ludgate?
Is Hades Andy?
Oh, I kind of thought of Hades maybe more like Ron Swanson.
Yeah. Like, proud of you, champ. Like, yeah, he's proud of her.
Oh yeah, he's like, she's the greatest thing that's ever happened in my entire existence.
Yeah, like when April takes over for that day in Parks and Rec, and Ron's just like, "You're doing everything right." Yeah.
She says some shit about hating the government, and he was like almost wiping away a tear.
And then her mom's like, "Leslie, like, I want you to like dress nicer, Persephone. Attract a nice boy."
I can't think of her name all of a sudden.
Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah. I'll tell you another like Aubrey Plaza role that I think maybe would be the dark side of Persephone is her as the Shadow King in Legion.
Ooh, yes.
She's fucking terrifying in that.
She's excellent.
Because it is a lot of like, hey, buddy, yeah. And then behind the scenes, it's a lot of like, just when he's not looking and she's looking at him, and you're like, everything is through that look of like, oh, fuck. This thing has not got your best intentions in mind. David, no. Yeah, I really like that. This kind of power couple.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the real question then is, are they actually in love? Or is as much in love as gods are ever in love? Or is it like he's in love with her? Or is it like aspects of them?
Maybe he's got like, they're awesome friends. They got each other's back. But he's got like an unrequited love for her that he knows, maybe because I'm this crusty old guy that's been down and, down here in the underworld for so long. She really couldn't ever see anything in me. So he keeps it at bay, maybe.
I like that a lot.
And if she has an inkling to it, I'm not sure, but that could be something.
Well, yeah, I like that jokingly, like, well, if we're still single in a millennia,
exactly,
marry each other.
Like we're real buddy, but
it's
love. I don't know.
Yeah. We're
if no one else strikes her face. Yeah, and he could totally be like, hey, Persephone, maybe if in a millennia, if you don't see anyone that's cool, I don't know, maybe we could go out for that kind of a thing. Oh, I love that. That's dude. Man, yes. And I love this take on it too.
It is asexual as fuck. That's amazing, Mitch. Yes.
Well, it's just like, okay, yeah, we're roommates. Like we both get things out of this.
Yeah, we have an arrangement that totally works for the both of us, and it benefits the both of us. But it's an arrangement solely, like, yeah. I love this.
This is amazing. Yeah, chat, Colin, Matt. That's brilliant.
Yeah, chat's always serving up gems to us, and
Oh,
you guys
boy.
are just. I love this, man.
Would we consider Persephone then to be asexual, like disinterested, and more like I just want my freedom? I just don't want to be forced to do what you want me to do. Or is it Hades who's kind of like, I deal with death constantly. Love feels really fleeting. Like I love the concept of love, and while I'm very attracted to Persephone and I love all these aspects about her, like I'm not interested in that. Like, because I mean, although the French call the orgasm the little death, he could be like I kind of like that part about it. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of trying to figure out, because I think the idea of one of them being asexual, Mitch, is perfection. I really I
I'd
want
give
to
it to
find a way to
him
work.
and have her
Well, I don't
more,
know.
maybe the woman coming into her own and really experiencing life for the first time in the underworld.
But maybe I don't know. But her whole role is as this rebirth and whatever. So I almost kind of and death in that fashion. So I almost like that she's always dealing with that as part of her role. Like, I could see where she's just like, yeah, I'm not really interested in.
Oh yeah.
Like,
totally.
it's like she's the person who's constantly being asked when she's gonna have kids.
Yeah, she's just like, no, I don't want.
Yeah, I do not want this.
Yeah, I know that's not for me. And like,
so hear me out.
I'm focused on my I got this
I like the idea of Hades being more asexual, and Persephone just being like, I'm disinterested in this part of things currently. Like,
I think
this ain't for me. This is not for me right now. Like, if I feel like doing it, I will, because I want to.
Right.
And him being more like, it's just, I have attractions, but it's more like I feel it, but I'm just like, I don't really. That part of a relationship currently holds no interest for me.
Yeah, I think it would be that loss of agency or control. Like, it's not even that she like, it's just like I don't want to give up that part of myself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not so, like letting somebody else have that kind of power over me.
Yes.
Even if it's for the benefit, even if I would love it and it would be great, I still don't want to do that. So there might be a little bit of fear in it, like because to love somebody is to give them power over you.
Because the loving relationship she had before being around Hades was this super oppressive mother that was suffocating, and yeah.
Yeah, her whole relationships, fucked up. Where she say, yeah, love is this controlling,
it's a cage,
oppressive thing, and so she's still trying to figure out what it could be.
Yeah,
I suppose, if you're leaving an abusive thing, you're definitely not going to just leap right back in.
Exactly. So it could be in the cards for her, but right now she's all about focusing everywhere else in her life.
She's working on herself.
Yeah, I love this. Yes.
I like this idea too of her growth because of what she represents as a god.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm with you there, Mitch. I could see, because the whole pomegranate seed thing, I could see where she was just like, oh, these will trap me here. All right.
See, I agree with this, Mitch. I love this idea that they concocted this scheme together.
Yeah.
And then when she gets kidnapped, she goes, "Oh no, I'm being kidnapped," and he's like,
Or he did it legitimately, because that's just how things work. And then once
I like the idea
just going through the motions.
I like the idea they concocted this together.
I mean,
and then they were like, and basically were like, did people buy it?
So he's like,
not overly good at it. It's more like Hades is like, this is shit my brother does. I don't. Yeah. This is not my thing.
He's like
really
smart Hulk.
I'm really tired of those two giving me shit.
Yeah.
So apparently I have to do this thing because it's what gods do. I don't know. It's just not me. And her being like, the only way I'm getting away from my mother is if you come kidnap me. And him being, okay, well, yeah, that works.
Well, and are you gonna keep them as all the weird ancestral elements, him being her uncle and all that, or you just not get into that? because that if you go with that changes it too. If it's the like the cool uncle or aunt, where it's like, oh, your family doesn't like you for who you are, you can come live with me.
Yeah, I kind of like this idea of kind of steering more away. And I also think, like, since they're not living beings, they're just concepts given flesh, that it really doesn't
It doesn't
matter.
matter. Okay, no,
But I like the idea too of Mitch, of Hades being someone who's like forced into a management position, but would be much happier not doing that. So Persephone being someone who's kind of like, I mean, I have no problem being more in charge. Like, she's got more of her shit together than he does, and he's kind of the guy who's like, I'm running the company, but it's more
he's
like
the dude in the family business who does not want
yes,
to be.
Yeah.
He's like, I have a family obligation to be here. I would rather be out like running around.
Yeah, he wants a partner, like, and not like someone to lord over, because he's like, I already have too much shit to lord over. Like, I do that 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I need someone who's got their own shit going on, so we can be like, hey, let's have dinner and talk about what your stuff is. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where my head was at.
And then in like that 1950s dad type to tie that into it, he's keeping up appearances. He's going into work, punching the time card, but then yeah.
I like this idea that he's kind of keeping up appearances. He's slightly on the edge of midlife crisis.
Yes.
Well, there's a little bit of that. You can get into that. They did this in there was a Captain Marvel Genus Fell miniseries, and as throughout the miniseries, Peter David introduces this concept that part of the reason that all these people keep coming back from the dead is basically that death is quiet quitting. She just doesn't give a shit anymore. And so she's not paying as close attention. She's like, I've been doing this for, eons.
Yeah.
She's just letting shit slide, And so it's like, oh, I guess somebody came back from the dead. God damn it. Like, I missed that one. So, he
is like a shitty Rusty Venture.
The end result of the series is that death is basically not death anymore and somebody else takes over. But I like the idea where it's just like, yeah, I do this. Like, it's fine, like whatever, but like the heart's not in it anymore.
Well, you said Red Death.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I like the idea too that he is on the verge of just like of having this midlife crisis where he's just like, fuck it, I'm out. And then that she would have to take over.
Yeah.
And then she might actually be better at it.
Yeah.
Because she's more ambitious, because she's got a little bit more of it together, and she doesn't have the millennia and eons of being ground down. I kind of also look at it like Hades between Zeus and Neptune is like the brother who gets the most shit. He's the goth brother.
Well, he lives out of town.
Yeah. So he's like, when he has to deal with those two, he's like, jock brother and middle child are the worst.
He's the youngest boy in the Home Improvement family when he went goth in those few episodes. If anyone remembers that besides me.
I always think of like Zeus as like football hero brother.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to
Neptune,
get you, little bro.
Yeah, and Neptune is middle brother who's constantly screaming for attention. So that leaves Hades as young brother who's like, parenting did not happen, so he was left on his own to figure it out. Instead was like, the world is a fucking vampire.
Oh, can he sound like Billy Corgan? The world is a vampire.
I almost make him want to sound like your version of George Lucas.
Oh, yeah.
But I think I kind of want to keep him more in the 50s.
Could we make his name Hades-O?
Because I think your Lucas is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I can't come to dinner because of work.
I've got to come to the overworld. Like that's like 3
hours.
Yeah,
I gotta go.
Like,
do you understand what the traffic's like? Oh God. All right. Well, I feel like
I can't stay overnight there. It's not any more convenient. Like,
yeah.
I love the idea.
I'm still gonna have to drive there in the morning.
I love the idea of Hecate being the mom's friend who is watching out for you, who's overbearing, but because of the overbearing nature, does not see that this is all an illusion. she's just constantly like, "What a piece of shit." And Persephon's like, "He's not that bad." And Hades is always going, "Oh, hey, Checkmate. How are things? I mean, are you?
Is it the freaking Bewitched relationship?
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
She's
yes.
on whatever the hell, just living there. Like,
She has her own mother-in-law suite in the underworld. And now it's gotten pretty good for her because I mean she's like a goddess of like black magic, or she's witches. That maybe has cultivated her own little cult in the underworld. In fact, let's tie that to. So there's something I want to use because I have the book and I want to use it. Is Mythic Odysseys of Theros.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of the returned. So maybe underneath all this, those are hers. That she's kind of undermining Hades. That she's sending back these returned. So that makes her kind of the hidden villain in all of this, which I kind of like.
Is she doing it like to purposely like undermine, or is it kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna tidy up here a little bit, maybe I'll do, or you know, and that kind of like,
I don't think it's like
I'm doing
meant
good
to undermine him. I think it's more like I want to spread my influence.
Okay.
Like this is an opportunity.
Huh. Yeah.
So I don't know. That's where I'm at with that.
I like it.
I think we're good here.
I think we covered a ton of ground.
Oh yeah.
Anyone have anything to add or want to see change? I love this. I can't wait to get to this too.
No, I can't think of any changes to make. Honestly, I think between us and the chat, we really nailed a lot in a really good way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, chat, you guys are amazing with all your pearls of wisdom. It's awesome. The Skeksis penguins. Who worship the... And are we going to go for the Zardoz kind of thing with the Price Master?
Yeah, I think he's a mix of like Zardoz, Oz, the Kree Supreme Intelligence, kind of that.
Oh, I like that. That's very nice.
See if I can find a.
We could make some necklaces, Mitch. That's yes, definitely.
Sorry, I'm looking to see if there was any other things I could find to replace the words mystical and market, but get the same alliteration. Because it feels way too plain.
Yeah.
The Brilliant Bazaar.
I've used Bazaar before, and I think it gets used all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of I'd say it's the next go.
It's a cool because it's a cool word.
Oh yeah,
cool word,
and it gives you that good visual of like kind of a hustling, bustling marketplace. At least for me,
I love the word bodega. I kind of want to find something that goes with a bodega or delicatessen.
The ethereal emporium or exchange.
Well, exchange is a good word too. The cryptic co-op. Oh, so dumb.
Eternal Exchange? Because it's always been there and it'll be going
Oh,
on.
god damn. I like that.
Okay. All right. Oh, we've always been here. Oh, that's since never. Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, I kind of like that. That's
I like
me.
that.
As soon as you said that, I was like, oh god, since never.
That's cool.
Which
That
kind of
is
has that Stephen King, Joe Hill vibe.
yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. There's something very ominous about that, and I love it. But also something kind of homey and a little comforting, like Stephen King and Joe Hill.
Yes.
Ben, you done it again.
I didn't do this. This is another everyone brought their milk to the yard, their milkshake to the yard on this one.
And
the
boys loved it.
Yeah, they loved it. They loved it so much. Where can people find everybody? Because I think it's time for those of us who want to go play some goddamn Zomboid.
I'm gonna eat some lunch.
I'm gonna go shop for some ice salt.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Amen.
Am I gonna be alone? Oh no.
No.
Yeah, you can find me on the Dave Wonder channel every Tuesday for Tiny Wing Tuesdays. I'm usually here Sundays. I won't be here next Sunday.
That's right. What do you got going on next Sunday, Matt?
Got the toy swap toy show.
Ooh.
in Bloomington. So if you're local, and you want to go buy my shit,
what are you looking to part with?
Oh, I'm selling so much stuff.
Just give us a sweet taste, Matt.
I gotta put a price on this Terrax. I don't know, but lots of I got a lot. I'm selling all my Thundercats classics. I'm selling some turtles, selling some random comic book figures. I got some Transformers I'm unloading, all kinds of good stuff. So yeah, hopefully want to buy it because I don't want to come home with it.
Price to sell.
I might have to.
Oh, are you gonna be the price master?
No, I'm not gonna price master it because that would be counter to me actually selling it.
How
much for this? $5,000.
But I also like the fact that at one point someone said so $17, and he said yes. So it's like he said like shit, but immediately take like the next offer.
17,000 cents, and they're like, oh, so.
Super Spike's asking for a live stream from the location.
That would be awesome.
Maybe I'll hop on if I'm established and stream a little bit. You know, hop on prep school.
That'd be cool.
I will be sitting and stationary by then at 10. I think doors open at 9, maybe earlier. So yeah, usually the first hour or two are pretty busy, and then it just slowly dies until after lunch. There's nobody freaking there anymore.
I love it. We can totally do that. I'm super into it.
I will see. I'll let you know if it looks like it's going to
work. Colin.
Oh yeah. You guys can find me usually hanging around here, dwelling around. Final Thursday of every month. Ben and I are usually doing Spoopy Boys. I think we're set for taking a trip to band camp under the full moon in the
Matthew. You should be there for this.
Yes, please. Band. We'll definitely cover Dr. Mordred.
I have not seen Dr. Mordred.
What?
How have you not seen Dr. Mordred?
I'm busy.
There's a Mystery Science Theater of it.
Yeah, I
didn't know that.
Yeah.
This new season. Yeah.
I'm on that then.
But I think the unriffed version is on Tubi.
Yeah, it is.
And also Full Moon's own streaming app, which I had to get. But I'm telling you, I'm been watching the Doll Man versus Demonic Toys series. Wonderful. But yeah, you can find me just hanging around with these guys on here and doing stuff. And yeah. that's mostly it. Yeah.
Mitch is always right behind you when your back is turned. You can find me here tomorrow night down in Outlands as we put into action the stuff we did today. You can find me sometimes on Tiny Ming. It's been a little bit hit and miss of late.
You've been dealing with your shit. That's all.
Yeah, it's not because I haven't been booked, Terry. I've been booked. I just have canceled my bookings. And then this Friday is Bad at Games. I heard a rumor yesterday during Old Man Walk Club that we might be going to kill the Ender Dragon in Minecraft.
Beard has a plan. We'll see if we can get all the pieces.
I've never gone to the end. It's somewhere
I've
where
never
I've
taken that on either.
yeah, somewhere I've been like, but if we do that, that's fine. Otherwise, I'm still trying to get a Squadrons night together as well, Star Wars Squadrons.
Ooh.
Because I think that would be really funny because I would be fucking terrible at it.
I'm awful at the game, but I love it.
Live in the end. I'm on your server. You built one of the craziest goddamn things I've seen in a Minecraft server I've played on. Graz built an underwater base that is stunning. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped about that. And then Sunday back for prep school. I don't know what we're doing. Yes, you. Yes. So yeah, let's make it official. Next Sunday, we're working on Colin's Stairway to the Stars RPG. So Colin found this thing, and then it's like public access from where?
New York City, circa 1980 to like 1990.
I want to do it as a laser and feelings mod, and I want it to be sort of like have a big creep factor. Like you can be on Stairway to the Stars, but
there's a very palpable creep factor on Stairway to the Stars.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
Yes.
The host loves to give kisses out, and you're just like,
he does.
I feel like we're going to do this next week, and it's going to be amazing. So because I wasn't on timing, I just want to share a couple things. This is done.
Nice.
Oh, I love that, dude.
Oh, I always forget how to do the.
There we go.
Did it.
It's done. It looks pretty good.
That looks really good.
Cassandra did the paint match to the feet and the head match up really well.
Oh,
yeah. I love it.
Did that. I finally finished the belt on this dude, but I'm still working on the piece. He needs something. He's missing some things.
He's getting there.
He's getting there though, slowly but surely. I finally got this head and I can't wait to use it.
That's cool.
Malachi Blackhead, and I finally almost am done with.
Yeah. Yes.
Focus. Oh, there it was for a second.
Oh yeah, now I'm seeing the hair detail and everything. That's great.
Yeah, I really like this head, and I got to go back and touch some stuff up because some paint got rubbed off when I was right after I sealed. So, Matt, you were right on the bones on the chest. Really,
I think that helped
a lot.
Just tie the mask in a bit.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of some stuff I've been working on that I wanted to make sure I shared. But that's where I'm at. Hey, if you have Project Zomboid and you'd like to play Project Zomboid with me, you just friend me over on Steam and I can invite you to the game I'm playing in. So yeah, otherwise, thank you so much for sharing all your amazing creative energy, thoughts, feelings, ideas, juju, and hope I'll see some of you on Monday. And thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Go Chiefs. Bye.